The member from Simcoe-Grey.
Speaker, my question is for the Premier. Speaker, when the federal government introduced legislation to stop old age security pension checks from going to jailed criminals, they asked the Premier of this province to help apply the same changes to the provincial rules so that criminals in our provincial jails here in Ontario would no longer receive old age security. The changes have pitted child killers like Clifford Olson against hard-working Ontario seniors who deserve this extra assistance above their Canada Pension Plan. And so I ask, through you, Mr. Speaker, whose side is the Premier on? Hard-working Ontarians or criminals like Clifford Olson?
Premier. Speaker, Minister of Community Safety, Correctional Services.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The question was a bit incendiary, I think, when he asked it of us. But I'm aware that the federal government has recently introduced the bill that's called C-31. It pertains to people who are sentenced, collecting old age security benefits. As you would know, I think there are 22 prisoners in our system itself who are eligible for any kind of benefits. And in Ontario, we have legislation now, as you would know, that suspends the entitlement to recipients in prison for more than 90 days. Such things as guaranteed annual income system, Ontario sales tax credits, and HSC transition checks. All these are suspended for those who are the 90 days and over. So we do that in the province of Ontario. We have indicated our support for the federal legislation in principle. We want to, of course, see the details and work with our federal partners whenever we can.
Well, the federal government hasn't heard you, I say to the minister. You mentioned payments that are going to that are no longer going to criminals, but I'm asking specifically about the old age security, which is to cover food and rent for Ontario seniors, not criminals in Ontario's jails. Criminals like Clifford Olson already have their room and board covered for life by the taxpayers. They do not deserve this extra assistance. So you please convey in a very clear way to the federal government that you will support the legislation and that you'll stand up here today and say you will support the legislation and bring in the necessary changes here in this Parliament to make sure OAS checks stop going to criminals.
Minister.
I think it's reasonable that the federal government is, in fact, following our lead in the province of Ontario. Because, as I mentioned to my friend, the guaranteed annual income system, that is it. The Ontario sales tax credits, HST transition checks, we already do that in the province of Ontario for those. So it would be certainly consistent that we would not want to see them as well receive the federal check as well. All we have to do is get some detail from the feds. In principle, we're there. We already do it, and we want to look at any funding costs there might be to provincial governments, technical implications, other possible implications. But listen, we already do it, so why on earth would we oppose what they are doing? Of course we're in favour of it. And I don't know why the members trying to stir something up in this, other than perhaps. No, I wouldn't say for partisan reasons. My friend across would not do that. But we already do it, and therefore.
Thank you. New question.